Lamb neck fillet with seaweed sauce. This is a very special dish for me and for the channel because when I was still 50-50 on whether to start this channel, I cooked this for a chef friend of mine and his seal of approval was enough to tip the scale. So, if you would have me, I would like to cook it for you exactly how I did it on that fateful November day. Very simple. First, we season the lamb. And then, we're gonna cook it sous vide with a twist. I was going through a seaweed phase when I cooked this. So, we're gonna wrap this in kombu, Japanese dried seaweed. Don't wash or brush them. All these white powders you're seeing, they are crystallized monosodium glutamate, MSG, which is full of umami. So kombu here, lamb neck goes here. One goes to the top. I mean, you can even wrap it like this. Some extra, because why not? So what's going to happen during cooking is the lamb, because of the salt and the heat, will release some liquid. The liquid will then soften the seaweed and hopefully the seaweed will impart some MSG onto the surface of the lamb. So this goes into a combi oven at 63 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. If you don't have a combi oven or a sous vide stick, you can sear it on the stovetop as long as you make sure the core temperature goes to 63 degrees Celsius. Now, let's make the sauce. The idea from the sauce came from a lamb dish I had at the Clove Club. I thought the seaweed and lamb combo was just amazing. So this is my variation on that to some extent. Very simple. 2 ingredients. First, we have chicken stock. This is store-bought chicken bone broth. If you have homemade chicken stock, great. To that, we add some toasted snack seaweeds. This is the kind of seaweed you find in Japanese supermarket or Asian supermarket for table snacks. And they are extremely tasty. So they're seasoned already. All we need to do is we cut them and add them to the chicken broth to cook. If you can't find snacking nori, you can buy sushi nori, but just make sure you adjust the seasoning accordingly. I mean, this sauce would go so well with any lamb dish, like leg of lamb with this would work super well. And it's relatively easy and cheap to make. You can buy them in any flavors. Just make sure you don't do something crazy like wasabi or kimchi. It looks like a lot, but once they cook, they would melt and integrate themselves into the chicken broth. Okay, I think that's a good amount. And then you let it simmer at low heat while the lamb cooks. All right, after an hour, we check on our lamb. As you can see, the juices from the lamb has softened the kombu completely, and hopefully the kombu has done its job imparting its umami to the lamb. Now, normally after sous vide, I would pat this dry as much as I can with kitchen towels, and then we sear. But since we work so hard to get those crystallized MSG onto the surface of the lamb, we're not gonna take them away by patting them dry. So we have one extra step here, so bear with me. I'm gonna put this on a rack and dry it with a fan. I mean, this is ridiculously optional, but you'll never achieve the kind of browning when you have wet surface like that. As I've said many times, surface moisture, not temperature, is the #1 enemy to good browning. So we'll leave it here with the fan until the surface looks dry. I'll see you then. All right, after 15 ridiculous minutes, we're gonna sear the lamb. Hot pan, and because of the uneven surface and the surface moisture from the combi oven, we're gonna add a bit more oil than we normally do. So, vegetable oil in. Once the oil starts to shimmer, lamb neck fillet in. It's gonna splash a bit. You can remove the sous vide from the moisture, but you cannot remove the moisture from the sous vide. That is just sad reality. Remember, the lamb has been cooked, so we are just browning it. For the Maillard reaction, high temperature and protein makes meat taste meatier. Decent color. Brown the other side. You want the oil to help you out a bit, basically. Would I rather do this on a real stove? Yes. Then I can tilt the pan properly. All right, that's it. We let it cool down enough to handle, and then we carve. Now, to plate. You might have noticed I left the plate on top of the oven just to keep warm. With lamb in particular, solidified cold fat is not appetizing, so make sure you warm your plates. Now, very simple, we carve at a bias, 45 degree-ish, perfectly pink. I like chunky medallions. I don't like them too thin when it comes to lamb neck. onto your serving plate. And now the sauce. So this is the consistency we achieved after about 40 minutes. For even more umami, we're going to add a dash of soy sauce, light soy sauce that is. And now we sauce the lamb. As you can see, the seaweed is basically a thickener that helps the sauce cling onto the flesh. And then we sauce the plate. Just want to even out the colors. And there you have it. The dish that started everything. This is lamb neck fillet with seaweed sauce. I hope you enjoy.